Hello everyone, George the Rambling Man here. It's a beautiful Sunday here, Labor Day weekend 2017. Couldn't ask for a better day to ride. I think summer is fading away. Got up this morning and it was in the low 60s outside, only going up into the 80s today, so I think summer is on its last few days here. Anyway, it's been a busy couple of weeks for me. Got back from Hawaii and had a lot of things to do at work, and also did all the work on my house. I mentioned in a few past videos we had a water leak under our slab a few months ago, and we've had the plumbing fixed for a long time, haven't done anything with the floor, and this past week we put a new floor in our kitchen, so that's all done. Nice travertine natural stone, really turned out good. Also replaced the heating and air system in my house, which cost me a lot of money. I've got brand new air conditioning unit, brand new furnace, condensing unit, and I tell you, it's high tech. Variable speed drive, very quiet, very energy efficient. It's all done. Glad to have all that behind me, but it's a great day to be out and ride, and I wanted to give you a review of the 2016 Heritage Softail that I was able to ride in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago. I actually did a review while I was there, and the video was just so bad with the sound I couldn't post it, so I thought, well, I'll just have to come do the review when I get back home. And obviously I'm not on Heritage Softail right now, I'm on my Suzuki Boulevard. But I thought I'd give you my thoughts on the motorcycle from having ridden it for a day. Before I do that, I thought I'd give you a little walk around of the bike. Before I turned it in Honolulu, I pulled over and did a little walk around, give you a chance to see the bike up a little up close. And this bike was a 216 model. It had about 20,000 miles on it, and it had a few little dings here and there on it. But I'll let you take a look at this walk around video, and then I'll give you my thoughts on how it was to ride it for a day. Well, I stopped for a break here. I thought I'd do a quick little walk around on the bike I've been riding today, the 2016 Harley-Davidson Heritage Softail Classic, minus the windscreen. I tell you, I was coming down the interstate highway H1 from up around Pearl Harbor, Schofield Barracks, into Honolulu, going 65, 70 miles an hour without a windscreen. I don't see how you do it on any kind of regular basis. It's just too much wind. But here's the bike. It's the blue and white color, very, very attractive. Bike's got about 20,000 miles on it, so they rent this out a lot, and it's very comfortable. I tell you, though, after being on the seat for about 4 hours, it's comfortable, but Stoney, I tell you, I gotta go with my Mustang seat on my Suzuki Boulevard, being a little bit more comfortable. It wasn't quite as much padding in there as I would have liked. If I get this bike, I might have to upgrade to a Mustang seat, I don't know. Yeah, just a brief walk around. Like I said, the bags are soft leather, and not a huge fan of those. I have them on my Suzuki, but it seems like I can get into the bags a lot easier on my bike than these. These are just very narrow at the top. This has got the 103 engine. I'll tell you, this has got all the power you would ever need. Just a quick look at you can see the little small digital readout area. It's not very big. Gas gauge, same way. But it's still nice to have. I like the handlebar position. Kind of the mini apes. Get your arms up. I like that. So that's the bike. Had a good day. Warm day here in Hawaii, but loads of fun. Obviously the new 2018s are different though, and I know everybody's had a lot of comments about the new Harley-Davidson models that have come out for 2018. And I'll make a few comments about about that at the end of this vlog, and my view on it, my take on it, and especially the Heritage. I actually got a chance to see one of the new 2018 Heritage Softails this past week. I was up in Indiana and Ohio, and I had a little time before I left on Thursday, and I stopped in Thoroughbred Harley-Davidson in Florence, Kentucky, which is right across the river from Cincinnati, pretty close to the Cincinnati airport. So I got a chance to see a couple of new models. I'll give you my thoughts on that. Even took a few pictures I might pop in here. Anyway, just let me give you my thoughts on the 2016 model that I rode in Hawaii. Overall, it was a great motorcycle. I loved it. I wished I had a windscreen on the model that I was riding. The wind blast kind of got to me by the end of the day. Would have really preferred to have the windscreen on it, but you know, to me it's a wonderful motorcycle. It's light, it's easy to maneuver, it's got plenty of power, and I really like it. It's a lot like the motorcycle I'm on now, this Suzuki Boulevard. It's probably 100 pounds heavier than this Suzuki, but I'm going to tell you, the low speed handling, you know, the parking lot maneuvers and U-turns and slow speed handling on the Heritage Softail, I thought it was actually better and more stable than this Suzuki Boulevard. I think the weight must be carried a little lower. It's got that bigger engine than this one, so I think the weight's carried a little low, and it was just super easy to maneuver around parking lots and downtown Honolulu as I was rented it and getting out of downtown. Very easy to maneuver, so I really like that. You know, it's probably the only thing that makes me not want to consider some of the bigger touring bikes that Harley and Indian have, is just the sheer weight of them and being able to muscle those things around the garage and slow speed maneuvers. As I get older, I'm not getting any stronger, and I really like the weight and the handling of the Heritage Softail. I mean, to me, you can't beat it. I like the seating position, very upright. The handlebars are kind of a mini ape type of handlebar, and your hands are kind of higher than they are here on the Suzuki, which I liked. You know, at first I didn't think I would like it, but after being on it for a day, it was very, very comfortable. I really did like the handlebar position. And the 103 motor that I had all the power that you would need. I mean, the bike is not that heavy. It had plenty of torque and plenty of power in every single gear. And in fact, I had to get used to a little bit of, when I twisted that throttle, I had to kind of hang on, because it definitely would get up and go. And that's the biggest difference between that bike and this one, is just the size of the motor and the sheer power that you have. And you know, I like this 50 cubic inch engine that I've got on this Suzuki. It's plenty good for me, but after riding the Heritage with the 103 motor, it's really nice to have that power. And now obviously the 2018s have the Milwaukee 8 engine, so it's even more. And they even have a few models that have the 114, which I don't know why you'd need that much power on a light motorcycle like the Heritage, but hey, if you want it, it's there. You know, obviously the other things I liked about the Heritage were the cruise control and the anti-lock brakes. I didn't really get a chance to try either one the day that I had it. It's nice to know the anti-lock brakes are there if I needed them. And the cruise control is very easy to use, and I'm sure on a long trip on a road like this, that would be a great feature. As far as the seating, the comfort of the seat, it was pretty good. You know, your lower back kind of leans up against the passenger pillion. It gives you a little lumbar support. It did start to bother me a little bit toward the end of the day. It's a little bit hard. But the seat was pretty comfortable. I would have to say that my Mustang seat that I have here on this Suzuki is a very similar type of seat as far as the comfort and the lumbar support. but it does have a little less padding than this Mustang seat, and I could tell that by the end of the day. I needed to get off and take a break a little more often than I do on this one. But if I bought the Heritage, I doubt that I would change it. It's pretty comfortable. I mean, I'm getting off every 100, 150 miles anyway for gas, so it's not really a problem. So I thought the seating position was comfortable, upright. The transmission was great. It had a nice feel to it. You could really tell when you shifted the gears. And nice clunk to it. And overall, I just thought it was a wonderful motorcycle, and something I'm really considering when I upgrade from this one. Only a couple things I didn't like about it, or I think are less than optimum about that motorcycle. I love the classic style and look of it. I like the leather bags. I like the way they look. You know, as Stoney said in his review of his Heritage, they do take some care. I mean, you've got their leather, and you've got to treat that leather and take care of it. But I like the look of them. The one thing that I did not like was the opening. When you open the top of the bags to get into the bags, the top opening is, to me, is very small, and you really can't see down in there very well. The top kind of flops down pretty easy. You got to hold that up, and that's one thing that I didn't like about it. The Heritage was those saddlebags. I mean, they look great, but from a practical standpoint, I really wasn't a big fan of them. Now, they've changed that in the 2018s. I'll mention that in a second, but the 2017 models and earlier have those older type bags, and I'm not a huge fan of those. Other than that, I really didn't have any other dislikes of the bike. It just seemed to handle and do great. Definitely had the weight and balance that I like. You know, just a wonderful motorcycle. Now, the 2018s, they obviously made a lot of changes to the Dyna and Softail line. Before I do that, I got to show you this guy here. I'm going to pass on this motorcycle sporting his Confederate flag. Oh boy, that's a whole nother topic there. But anyway, the 2018, the Heritage is quite a bit different looking than the earlier models. And I saw a lot of pictures online, and you know, I didn't have a really a positive or negative opinion, to be honest with you. I thought, you know, I'm just gonna have to see this thing in person to really form an opinion. Well, I did get a chance this past week to see one in person up in Kentucky. Here, I'll throw a couple of pictures that I took of the bike in the showroom up in Kentucky for you to take a look at, and then I'll give you my comments on it. Well, as you can see, they did change the saddlebags, and I really like the changes they made on the saddlebags. They're a hard bag, they're leather wrapped, so they still have that leather look to it. But they open very easily, they lock, they look like they're weatherproof, and you know, I'm a big fan of the new bags. The windscreen is the same type of windscreen, but they've got the bottom half of it darkened, and I gotta say, I don't really like that too much. It looks kind of strange. I like the windscreens like in the old models, and on this one where it's clear, you can see the entire road. I like that. So I don't know if I'm a big fan of the new windscreen. The lights are LED lights now they have on the front, and I'm sure they're great because they're LED, but they got kind of a strange look to them. I don't know if I like that too much. Another thing they did I don't like is they removed the passenger backrest. I like these type of bikes with the passenger backrest. It's easy to strap a bag on the back seat. Easy to put a luggage rack on. And I just like the look of it too. Not to mention if you got a passenger, their comfort. So they took that off, and I don't really like that. Obviously they upgraded the engine to the Milwaukee 8, and they have a couple of models with the 114. Those pictures I just showed you has the 114 engine, and why you would need that much engine on a light motorcycle like the Heritage, I don't know, but hey, you can get it. They also blacked out a lot of things, the handlebars, the spokes on the wheels, a lot of the engine components are now blacked out. And you know, I'm kind of 50-50 on the whole blacked out scheme on motorcycles. There are a few motorcycles I think look really good that way. Indian has a blacked out Chieftain model, I think they call the Dark Horse. I think is a really sharp looking motorcycle. I know Suzuki has a C90, which is the step up from this one they've got that's blacked out, that looks pretty good. But I actually kind of like the chrome better when it comes down to it, and that's one thing I always liked about the older Heritage is just the amount of chrome they had. Just shiny, and I think it's got that classic look to it. And the new one's got a lot of blacked out features, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess that's about it. You know, it's probably pretty much the same frame and same ride. Oh yeah, one thing I did want to mention is I guess they did make some frame changes to it, and they took out about 30 pounds. And I thought the 17 model or the 16 model that I was on in Hawaii felt very light, very easy to maneuver. And I don't know if they really needed to take out any more weight on the Heritage. In fact, when you get out on the highway, it's nice to have a little extra weight just to keep from getting blown around. So it'd be interesting to ride it. I probably will go on a demo day sometime up to the Harley dealer and where I live and just take it out for a ride and kind of compare it. It's definitely a model I'm considering. I guess the only drawback to it is the price. I mean, Harley is really raising the prices on these Softail line of motorcycles, and I know they're making a lot of big changes, a lot of improvements, and you know, you've got to expect a certain amount of price increases. But the Heritage is really getting pricey now, especially if you pick up that 114 model. You know, by the time you pay the dealer prep and the freight and everything else, you're probably going to be in the low to mid 20s, and that's a lot of money to drop for a new motorcycle. And I guess that's one of the reasons I'm just kind of hanging on to this one for now. This one suits me really nice, and the Heritage is not that drastically different than this one, other than the upgraded power and engine, some upgraded electronics and cruise control, anti-lock brakes. I mean, those are all things I want, but I tell you, this one's paid for. I own it free and clear. It runs like a top, and the thought of just dumping this thing and spending 20 or 25,000 for a brand new Heritage, I don't know. I'd have to think really hard about that. I think I'd have to consider the Road King or the Indian Springfield as well. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the 2016 Heritage I rode in Hawaii and the new 2018 model they've got out. It's a great day to ride. It's afternoon now, and it's just absolutely gorgeous out here. A little too much traffic for me on this Labor Day weekend. I'm tooling along here about 45 miles an hour behind another Toyota Prius. I don't know what it is about me and Toyota Priuses. My motorcycle seems to find them. Hope everybody has a chance to get out on this Labor Day weekend. If you got nice weather, I hope you get out, get a chance to ride. Just want to say one thing about all the folks in the Texas, Louisiana area, especially around Houston, that have had to endure Hurricane Harvey. It's a, you know, it's a tragedy in a lot of ways when these natural disasters strike and people lose their lives and property, and my heart goes out to them as everyone's taking a break on this Labor Day weekend and taking some time off. You know, take a few minutes to think about those folks that are having a rough time out in Houston and Texas. Say a little prayer for them. All right, guys. Hope everyone has a great week. This is George, the Rambling Man. Everybody ride safe.